Hey, hello there. Thanks for joining. Today, I want to do this a little bit different. I want you to be able to see me while the drawing's going on. So I did the drawing before, and I'll kind of narrate over it. Today, I thought it'd be fun to draw from Link's Awakening. Link. I think the design is really cool. So let's jump on over here to Sketchbook Pro, and we'll start drawing this and see how it goes. So if we watch, I took this cover work here from the game. I think the art style here is really cool. It's very different, right? Link is a lot squatter than he is normally, which I think is kind of fun. Very imaginative and all that. So I just thought it'd be fun to kind of draw him out. And so here you can see I'm kind of drawing in his basic shapes. As I draw, it seems a little bit like I'm drawing him a little more Luigi than Mario, if you will. So when all is said and done, you can kind of take a look at it, but it feels a little tall to me. But I like ultimately how it kind of turns out and each of the things. You know, here I'm drawing in the shield. The first shield, it seemed like it wasn't round enough, and so you'll see on this new shield that I'm drawing, I gave it a little bow to the front of it a little bit, so it looks a little bit more rounded and I think cool and more filled out. The other one looked just far too flat, the one that you see there on the bottom left corner there. Something that I really tried to do too is obviously make it look very cartoony and make sure that that comes through. Here I jump over to the inking stage. Admittedly, inking is still kind of new for me, but I'm doing a lot of research to try to figure out how to make that as impactful as possible. And what I've learned through all this research and stuff is that it's not so much about erasing the lines. It's about a lot of like drawing and then undoing and drawing and undoing and drawing and undoing. So that's what I tried to do here. So you may see me kind of draw the same line several times. That's essentially what I'm doing because you only get one shot with the inking. And so I wanted to make sure that I did that right. That thumb gave me some issues, but ultimately I think it turned out well as I turned that a little bit. The sword, I like the sword design. It's very simple. It's very kind of cool that way. Kind of fun. I actually got a chance to play this game. My friend bought it, and it plays so well. It is a fun game. So if you enjoy Zelda games, probably worth picking up. I haven't picked it up myself yet because I have so many games that I want to get really. But it's one that looks just totally awesome and plays amazing. So if you're tempted by it, it's probably worth it, honestly. So here I'm putting a little bit more detail on the shield. I like how it's kind of turning out here, and I clean up the hair a little bit to make it so it's a little bit cleaner and draw these funny lines. So here you can see I start going into the coloring. I tried to give it base colors through all of the different areas, and then I could go through later and shade it. The eyes of this Link, I think, are interesting because they're kind of I don't know, ghost-like, if you will, right? Like because they're just big black holes, which is kind of funny and interesting. Also, while I'm doing this, you may notice that sometimes the whole screen goes brown or whatever color, and that's because if you don't connect the inking lines perfectly, then the fill just goes everywhere, which is kind of a nightmare. So I kept having to go back and forth to try to fix that, but I ultimately did. And here we're kind of going into the shading. Admittedly, I still have a lot of work to do on kind of perfecting the shading and that sort of stuff. But it's always fun just to practice and try to figure out where the light is coming from. And it's nice that I had this reference to look at to kind of get an idea of how that was rendered, so that way I could do mine a little bit better. So that was helpful, and I think this is good practice. Here we're putting in some more colors on the hat there. Color it in. It's kind of fun to watch this at I do it on 9 times speed, so that way you can kind of get through it really zippy, and it's kind of fun to see it really, really fast come together. It's kind of fun. I remember way back when this game, Link's Awakening, was on the Game Boy. I played through it and beat it. It is a fantastic game. It is really, really good, and just so different. You know, everyone when they in the reviews and stuff, they talk about how there's lots of like Mario characters that come into it, right? So they're like Shy Guys and Yoshis and Chain Chomps and Goombas and all sorts of funny weird things. And as you play the game, it kind of makes sense, right? It fits together in that world, which is kind of fun. Here I'm trying to put in little highlights. You may notice the highlights. I think are a cool touch. Um, I am still kind of perfecting how you do it and where you do it and that sort of thing, but I do definitely do really like it. And here is the final drawing of Link from Link's Awakening. I think it turned out super great, and hopefully you enjoyed that. Anyways, thanks for joining us, and hope you like the drawing. See ya.